every instance of our life. But we, as Christians, need to be able to identify it as sin and to move through it. By knowing that there is sin, and not saying that we have to be perfect, so of course you're not going to be able to avoid everything. There are some things you're going to do, whether it's using profanity or ready to fight or talking behind people's backs or whatever it may be, how little or how big. But we have to be able to master it and to keep moving. And what I got was the second definition of accept was to endure resignedly or patiently. And it just I just kind of kept thinking about it and kept thinking about it last night. And it was just like going through so many things. Like, you just have to accept it. Like, it's like this definition means more so like to accept one's fate as an example. So to accept that it's going on, not to deny. If I know people are hating me or people want to do things to me, I'm not going to deny it and try to get it, or like really not going to deny and say, well, maybe that's not really how they feel, or if something's going wrong, like I have financial issues, I'm not going to keep denying that I don't have financial issues. I need to accept it and try to push through all the strife and the struggle. And I went to Proverbs 10:25, which states, when the storm is over, there's nothing left of the wicked. Good people, firm on the rock of foundation, aren't even phased. And to stay in the storm and to get through the storm, I felt as though we need to extract, which means to remove, usually with some force or effort, also used in the abstract sense, like as to like pull something out, pulling out a weed or things like that. And it also means to get despite difficulties or obstacles. And in all of our situations, we need to be able to pull out the Spirit of God, and we need to be able to extract the Spirit of God in forms of faith and other qualities such as courageousness and through willpower and things of that nature. And I kept stumbling on the scriptures, and Proverbs 28:1 says, the wicked man flees though no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. And we need to be, through all our situations, as bold and as fierce as a lion would be. There is no time where, no matter what is going on in our life and what's going on through our situation, that we need to give up. We need to be fighting and be courageous through all of our struggles. Because a lot of people sometimes think that the devil is always the one who is presenting us or is planting seeds of struggle into our life, when that's really not the case. God, on many occasions, will present to us struggles and struggles and struggles, because we can't get to a certain place without going through something. I remember listening to Eddie Long yesterday in the car, and it was just really awkward. I was sitting in the car, my mom was getting tire changed, and she played Eddie Long, and she turned it off. I'm like, no, wait, I'm listening to that. She's like, huh? I'm like, yeah, I'm listening. And he said that the best preacher, he said, a qualified preacher is a preacher who has been through something. Like, if you cannot talk to people about being delivered from drugs or healing or living bad ways if you haven't been presented or lived in that type of environment at all. He talked about how he had been delivered from drugs, he had cancer, he had other things, and it was funny too, because he says at one point he had cancer and he had laid hands on somebody, and they came to him a couple weeks later and realized that when they went back to the doctor had told them that they were free of cancer, and he began crying. And he wasn't crying because they thought he was crying for them because they had their tumor or whatever had gone away. But he was crying because he couldn't figure out why he could heal them, but he couldn't be healed himself. But he kept fighting, and he kept preaching, and he kept doing what he felt needed to do. He brought up other occasions, like he mentioned Moses, how God had talked to Moses for many and many years, and then Moses is feeling real hurt, and the first time God talks to Moses is telling him that somebody else is hurt and giving him an assignment to heal someone else. And my point saying this is, no matter what's going on with us, no matter how hurt we are, we need to keep loving and keep fighting and never giving up, and just believing in God to do what he says he will do. Believing that no matter what's going on, God is here and God isn't just going to leave us. If we're walking on the road, God is with us at all times. God is walking on this road. He's not going to lead us astray into a dirt road and just leave us there hanging. And I read 2 Corinthians 12, verses 9 and 10. It says, "And then he told me, my grace is enough. It's all you need. My strength comes into its own in your weakness." Once I heard that, I was glad to let it happen. I quit focusing on the handicap and began appreciating the gift. It was a case of Christ's strength moving in on my weakness. Now I take limitations in stride, and with good cheer, these limitations that cut me down in size, abuse, accidents, opposition, bad breaks, I just let Christ take over. And so the weaker I get, the stronger I become. What we need to do is accept our limitations, know ourselves, know what we can and what we cannot do, but also know that our limitations will not be stopping us. And the two of you just guiding yourself is all you need to succeed. You don't need a bunch of people telling you how, for instance, for me, I'm a musician and I like to write songs. I don't need a bunch of people to tell me that I'm good or people to tell me that I'm bad or to criticize me at all. And I just need to keep working on progressing myself and to keep getting better and know that he will help me. You don't need a bunch of people to tell you anything. You have God. If everybody were to leave this room right now, we don't need them. It's me and you. I'm telling you what I feel we need to talk about. It's the same relationship you and God have. Once you leave the room and you're with God, he'll sit there and tell you what you need, what you don't need. He has told you in the Bible what you need, what you don't need, what you want isn't necessarily always what you need. So just know yourself, know your limitations, and you won't be stopped. It is impossible. It is impossible that with God, anyone can stop you, whether it's the devil, and no matter how he tries to come at you, whether it's through other people, whether it's through getting you down, getting you to think about things like suicide, no matter how down you get, just know that you can reach the top. And I was just, it just kind of like, I was going through so many verses yesterday and so many scriptures, and the 2 Corinthians one just kind of hit me. Like, that last thing just kind of, now I take limitations in stride, and with good cheer, these limitations that cut me down in size, abuse, accidents, opposition, bad breaks, I just let Christ take over, and the weaker I get, the stronger I become. That just proves that throughout your storm, God is your umbrella. God is your shelter. God is the one who's holding you. You just need to believe that you will get through it, because all your days won't be dark. There are so many people who have been through so many things, and you look where they are now. I know being in business class, we learned through so many different people. We watched so many videos that at one point, for instance, Tyler Perry at one point was homeless, living in a car, going house by house, but he's now making millions and millions and millions of dollars, making millions of dollars each year. That just is proof to show you where God can take you. He credits everything to God. To be able to stumble onto something like he did, it's really that natural. You just need to talk to God. It is nothing like somebody came up to him and said, "Hey, maybe you should think about this." Him and God were alone at one point, and all he could do was pray, and God answered his request. And I'll close with Ephesians 6 and 10 through 18. And it says, and that about wraps it up. God is strong, and he wants you strong. So take everything the Master has set out for you, well-made weapons of the best materials, and put them to use so you will be able to stand up to everything the devil throws your way. This is no afternoon athletic contest that we'll walk away from and forget about in a couple of hours. This is for keeps, a life or death fight to the finish against the devil and all his angels. Be prepared. You're up against far more than you can handle on your own. Take all the help you can get, every weapon God has issued, so when it's all over, but the shouting, you'll still be on your feet. Truth, righteousness, peace, faith, and salvation are more than words. Learn how to apply them. You'll need them throughout life. God's word is an indispensable weapon. In the same way, prayer is essential in this ongoing warfare. Pray hard and long. Pray for your brothers and sisters. Keep your eyes open. Keep each other's spirit up so that no one falls behind or drops out.